Hello and welcome to the Museum of the History of Sewing and the Sewing Machine. I am Kai Olatunde, the Director of Library Services and the Assistant Curator. We're so glad you're here. About the museum. Our museum chronicles the history of sewing by collecting home and industrial sewing machines. We also collect books and serials that are of interest to the home seamster or seamstress and which will allow research into the history of sewing. Aside from print material and machines, we also have a large collection of sewing realia: pin cushions, hem markers, measuring tapes, pattern makers, and dress forms. We are regularly visited by local schools and are a prominent tourist attraction. We often loan out items in our collection for use in film and television productions. About the library. We are responsible for thorough knowledge of the items the collection contains. We are also responsible for research for our curators and some acquisitions. The library is currently at 1.5 full-time positions, which includes myself as the director and a part-time assistant. We classify and house new acquisitions, including donations to the collection. We actively procure acquisitions by searching for items on the internet and locally at thrift stores, yard sales, and garage sales. We develop relationships with the community to make them aware of what the museum does and also to recruit new volunteers, of course. By the numbers. Our current collection is roughly 10,000 volumes, including monographs and bound serials. We have 876 working sewing machines, including working toy machines and both home and industrial machines. The staff of the library supports 4 curators. We work with about 117 various vendors, and we boast 7 years of continuous operation. We have patterns spanning almost 100 years, 92% of which are completely uncut. What we need. Of course, like most libraries, we always need more. Our current needs are more space. We've had to drastically reduce adding to some of our collections, namely the sewing machine collection. We need more funding. We have not been immune to the recent changes in the economy, and our budget has been cut, with the possibility of more cuts in the future. While we are fortunate to have donations, we still need to be able to purchase materials. We'd also love to be able to make our assistant position into a full-time position. We need more hands, volunteers. We have several current and planned projects that would go much faster and easier with more help. Lastly, we need more shelving, specifically strong shelving. Our machines are heavy, and standard shelving quickly buckles under the weight of some of the machines. We purchase custom shelving which gets bolted into place. Our projects. One of our most prominent projects is creating a unique classification scheme that mirrors current library standards and cataloging our entire collection. The current organization of the items we own was fine when we had a smaller collection, but as the collection has grown, we need to be able to make good use of the space we have and make the items we own easy to find. We'd like to integrate all materials in our collection so that the machines and supplies are sitting next to print material of a similar nature. We think this would be extremely beneficial to our curators. We'd like to migrate our homegrown database into an OPAC that is user-friendly so that interested patrons and organizations can see what we have in our collection. Another project is the photographing of all our machines and realia, ideally to be used in digital exhibits, but they can also be used in our OPAC depending on which system we decide to work with. Lastly, we would like to enhance our current website so that it is more interactive and informative. Our museum operates like a well-oiled machine. Our curators know they can count on the library to find the materials they need for their exhibits, and we count on the curators to collect with our needs and the mission of the museum in mind. Our donors know their donations will be put to good use and are glad to support the museum. And of course our volunteers are generous with their time. There are many things we couldn't do without them. So welcome to the Museum of the History of Sewing and the Sewing Machine. Once you're up and running, we're sure that you'll keep all our machinery running smoothly.